9 years ago, a stubborn Russian girl came to China, despite her family's objection. She married a man from northeast China, Yang Ming, without hesitation. She never received her parents' blessing. Is she still happy now? In the winter of 2008, 27-year-old Yang Ming decided to go to Russia for work. He was in charge of repairing mobile phones and selling phone accessories in a small shop in Ussurisk. That same winter, a 19-year-old Russian girl named Nina came to that shop for a part-time job. At first, they had no common language and no common topics. But Yang Ming fell in love with this foreign girl at first sight. Later, because of his warm and generous care, Nina accepted his pursuit, and they decided to get married in China. In 2010, Nina wore a white wedding dress and married the man she loved. Their life after marriage was very sweet. They first settled in Shenzhen, but in mid-July last year, Yang Ming gave up his job there. He and his wife moved to Suifenhe, a border city 4,000 kilometers away. Before that, Yang Ming and Nina had been living peacefully in their hometown in northeast China. But then, an accident happened. 4 years ago, while shopping in a mall, Nina suddenly felt a sharp headache. She tried to hold on to Yang Ming for help, but collapsed before she could. Yang Ming rushed her to the hospital. She woke up 3 days later. The doctor diagnosed her with a congenital brain hemorrhage. If not treated in time, it could be life-threatening. When Nina woke up and heard the news, she cried. She couldn't fully understand the doctor's Chinese, but she knew it was serious. Yang Ming understood perfectly. This was not a small illness, but a high-risk brain tumor. Yet he comforted his wife softly. Don't think too much. Don't be afraid. It's not a big deal. Take your medicine, and you'll get better with time. Nina nodded quietly, as if she had just taken a sedative. To buy special medicine for his wife and make hospital visits easier, Yang Ming decided to move back to Shenzhen and work in e-commerce. Shenzhen soon became Nina's favorite city in China. It was there that they began filming short videos and live streaming their daily lives. In real life, both Nina and Yang Ming were quiet people. They didn't talk much or socialize with strangers. They lived simply and peacefully. As short video platforms became popular in China, the couple decided to make videos to bring some fun into their lives. But what they didn't expect was that Nina would fall deeply in love with the Chinese language and with life in China. Every day at noon and at night, Yang Ming and Nina would turn on their phones and live stream. They chatted with fans, shared stories, and soon gained more than 2 million followers online. Over time, they had filmed more than 200 short videos, shared across platforms like Weibo, WeChat, Facebook, and even LinkedIn. Later, to treat Nina's illness, they decided to move to Suifenhe city, close to their hometown and just across the border from Ussurisk, Russia, making hospital visits more convenient. Yang Ming once again put down everything he had built in Shenzhen and began a new journey with his wife. After several days on the train, they finally arrived in Yang Ming's hometown in the northeast. Yang Ming's mother already knew they were coming home and was overjoyed. She liked her foreign daughter-in-law very much, so she invited relatives and friends to their home for dinner. But deep down, Yang Ming's mother had a knot in her heart. She missed having a grandchild. Now in her 60s, she often sighed that she wished her son and daughter-in-law could have a baby. However, she was always reasonable and kind. She said, "As long as you're both happy and Nina stays healthy, that's enough for me." Nina and Yang Ming stayed home for a few days. The mother wanted to ask about Nina's condition, but the couple didn't say much. They just quietly took their medicine and carried on. She knew her son was introverted and didn't like to trouble others. Before Nina and Yang Ming left to visit Nina's mother in Russia, Yang Ming's mother packed all the fruits, vegetables, and groceries from her house and insisted that Nina take them to Russia. Nina was touched but helpless. She smiled and said, "There's so much food here. We could open a little shop. We can't fit all this into 2 boxes." But she knew her mother-in-law's legs weren't good, and she still went to the mountains to pick mushrooms and fruits for them. Nina could only accept her love. It was such a warm and loving family. The couple loved each other deeply, and the mother-in-law treated Nina like her own daughter. So why did Nina still want to divorce Yang Ming? The truth was, Nina also loved her husband and mother-in-law very much, but she knew that her illness had been a burden on Yang Ming for years. He had traveled everywhere to look for medicine for her, and now that they had moved again to Suifenhe, she could see the exhaustion on his face. She thought, Yang Ming isn't young anymore. Maybe he wants to have a child. One day, she said to him, "If you really want to have a child, maybe we should talk about it." They had been married for years, but Nina's health had prevented them from having children. She felt guilty, believing she had let him down, that she had deprived his mother of a grandchild and his family of an heir. Before leaving Shenzhen, she had quietly proposed a divorce, but Yang Ming refused. If not having a child is enough reason for divorce, then our love is too weak. Whether we have a child or not doesn't matter. What matters is you. When they returned home, Nina tried to act normal, but seeing relatives and friends with their children made her feel immense pressure. Still, her husband's family treated her with so much love that she didn't know what to do. During these days of illness, Yang Ming stayed by her side. They went to the hospital together and took medicine regularly. Nina's heart gradually calmed down. Later, they traveled to Ussurisk to visit Nina's mother. Her mother welcomed them warmly, and all misunderstandings she once had about her Chinese son-in-law disappeared completely. At her mother's house, Nina started a live stream. "Hello everyone, we are brother Crooked and sister-in-law. Welcome to our hometown in Russia." She chatted happily with fans, introduced Russian food, and even danced with her family. She never saw herself as a celebrity. She just felt that the internet had shortened the distance between her and her Chinese fans. It had pulled her out of her depression and brought her back into the sunshine. After a few happy days, Yang Ming and Nina left for Ussurisk again. It was a city full of memories and struggles. Yang Ming wanted to make his wife happy, especially as it was the 10th anniversary of their first meeting. That morning, Yang Ming went to a flower shop. He didn't know much about flowers or their meanings. He only knew that roses could express love. Then he went to a bakery and ordered a heart-shaped cake with a photo of their first trip together printed on top. On his way home, holding the flowers and the cake, he felt a little awkward, but determined. When he opened the door, Nina was stunned. Then tears streamed down her face. In that moment, the thought of leaving him vanished completely. Yang Ming gently hugged her from behind and whispered, "It's been more than 10 years. You followed me from the south to the north. Thank you. Happy 10th anniversary, my love." Nina cried like a child. She finally realized how loyal and selfless her husband was, a man who had run all over the country just to find a cure for her. To make Nina's life better, Yang Ming rented a nicer apartment and started a small e-commerce business, selling Russian products to China. Nina helped by live streaming twice a day, introducing products and sharing their daily life. They even opened a small physical store. Life slowly became more stable. Every month, Yang Ming took Nina to the central hospital in Ussurisk, over 100 kilometers away, for checkups and medicine. He kept detailed notes about her condition. Each time the doctor would say, "Keep taking your medicine to maintain stability." The couple never gave up hope. They always stayed optimistic. As Putin once said, "If life deceives you, don't be sad or anxious. Happy days will come." Perhaps it was their deep love and mutual understanding that moved heaven itself. Because one day, during a checkup, the doctor smiled and said, "Your illness is almost recovered. You may even be able to have a baby." Hearing that, they both burst into tears. Over 10 years of effort had not been in vain. They had weathered countless storms together, arguments, hardships, and endless hospital visits. But what they gained was a love that endured time, and a bond built on unwavering faith. In Yang Ming's eyes, Nina was still that kind, pure, and sincere girl he met years ago. In Nina's heart, Yang Ming was still her Prince Charming, the one she had dreamed of since childhood. The greatness of love doesn't lie in nationality, culture, or language. It lies in two hearts beating as one. True love doesn't need fancy gestures. It only needs sincerity and the courage to stay. Love may start with one person, but true love lasts a lifetime. May this family always be happy.